සංසාර සාරෝග විනීතනී සන්නීත සාතං සුචිසාරධීසං සන්ධීරකං සොන්න තනුපලාසං සංලාපදේසින් පනමේ විසාසං සමන්තා චක්කවාලේසු අත්‍රා ගච්ඡන්තු දේවතා සද්ධම්මං මුනි රාජස්ස සුනන්තෝ සග්ග මොක්ඛදම් ධම්ම ශ්‍රවණ කාලෝ අයං බදන්තා ධම්ම ශ්‍රවණ කාලෝ අයං බදන්තා ධම්ම ශ්‍රවණ කාලෝ අයං බදන්තා නමෝ තංස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දංස නමෝ තංස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දංස නමෝ තංස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දංස සංචං හවේ සාදු තරං රසානන්ති. Okay, dear Dhamma friends, all of you are warmly welcome. Here I would like to explain what is the Buddha's message, what Buddha explained. Okay, especially Buddhism emphasizes the importance of understanding of our mind. You know, our success, our happiness depends on our mind. If our mind is very rich in wholesome deeds, it means we are happy. When our mind has negative ideas such as anger, ill will, lust, then we have lost our happiness. Therefore, our happiness completely depends on how far we have cultivated good ideas in our mind. Especially, our success, our happiness, our proficiency depends on how far we are clever to keep our mind with mindfulness. Therefore, Buddhism has explained the only way to get rid of suffering is practicing mindfulness. Not only Buddhism, you know, some philosophers and psychologists, they have discovered the importance of practicing mindfulness. That is the new solution how we reduce our stress, anxiety and other mental problems. Therefore, practicing mindfulness is a very important doctrine in Buddhism. Although it is very ancient, still the people who are very educated, people who are doing researches, they are finding the information about the mindfulness. Therefore, that is very important. On this path, Buddha explained how we get rid of suffering and how we achieve the real happiness. The happiness is the main goal in our life. We do everything for the happiness. If we have no happiness, our all other things are useless. Although you are living in a very comfortable house, although you are sleeping in a very comfortable bed, if you think something which brings you suffering, then that comfortable bed is useless. When you drive in a very comfortable vehicle with new technology, if your mind is angry, your mind is with anger, then you have no comfortable facilities. You can't see the beauty of your vehicle because mind goes here and there. Mind is with anger, ill will, lust. Although we are living under a tree, if our mind is very pure and calm, if our mind has no jealousy, no anger, no lust, then our mind is very present, quiet and calm. You know, one day the Lord Buddha was under a tree. A prince came and asked Buddha, Bhante, we are living in a very comfortable house, but you have slept last night under a tree, but your face is very pleasant and quiet and calm. But although we have a lot of facilities in our house, we have no such happiness like you. What's the thing that you have this difference? Then Buddha said, Dear prince, my mind doesn't live in the past. My mind doesn't live in the future. My mind always in the present moment. That is the secret why I am happy. Although we have a lot of facilities, our mind always live in the past or future. It means we have lost our beauty of our life. Our beauty of life is in the present moment. Therefore, all Buddhist doctrines focus on how we live in the present moment. It doesn't sound that we forget our past or future. We have a good memory about our past. We have a good activities for our future. We are so intelligent. We do everything with intelligence. We are so intelligent, but we are clever to live in this moment. As soon as we think something, we know very well, now I read something, now I think something, not I live in that moment. That is the very important thing. When we discuss this information in Buddhism, first of all, I think if you can understand what Buddhism is and who Buddha is, then you can get some kind of idea. It is very useful as newcomers to Buddhism. Okay? When we discuss Buddhism, especially Buddhism, why do we say Buddhism? Buddha means intelligence or wisdom or enlightenment. The Buddha means the word of Buddha in Buddha's language, it means the understanding, wisdom, intelligence, enlightenment. Because he realized, because the Lord Buddha discovered this message, we say Buddhism. Ism means religion or philosophy, or that's the thing, that is the meaning. But we may understand, we should understand, although we say this Buddhism, Buddha said very clearly, although Buddha has understood this message, although Buddha discovered this message, these doctrines don't belong to the Lord Buddha. What is the reason? Buddha realized, he discovered the world reality. The world reality, the sublime truth, doesn't belong to even Buddha. Buddha said very clearly, a Buddha appeared or not in the world, this reality is forever. We respect Buddha because he understood by himself and he preached this message us. That is why we respect him. That is why we name it Buddhism. But Buddha said very clearly that this message doesn't belong to even Buddha. This is a discovery, as I mentioned last week. This is a discovery. This is not a creation. That is the important thing. That is why Buddha explained, if you respect me, don't respect to my physical body. Try to understand this message, what I explained, and try to practice it in your life, through your life, and try to get the results practicing this message throughout your life. Then Buddhist teachings, doctrines focus on improving our intelligence. Intelligence is the very important thing. Intelligence or wisdom. I don't know what is your idea about wisdom here. We use those words in several meanings. But according to Buddhism, the wisdom is the highest goal that we have to reach. Wisdom means understanding the world reality. It is the final reality, final understanding. It is the ultimate truth, whether we like or not, whether we believe or not. In this path, when we discuss Buddhism, we have to know there are three things in Buddhism. Last days we discussed, because there are some newcomers, I would like to explain it again. There are three things in Buddhism which are very important. That first of all, we have to understand what is the nature of these three things. The first one is the Buddha. Buddha means the spiritual teacher. He was a human being. He was born as a human being. He was born as an ordinary person, but after he enlightened, he was not an ordinary person. He became an extraordinary person, because he eradicated all kind of negative ideas or unwholesome deeds in his mind. He developed his mind in the maximum level in loving kindness and wisdom. That is why we respect him. That is why we try to understand what he explained. And the second one is the Dhamma. Dhamma means his teaching, Dhamma, or his message, what he explained to the world. Next one, the Sangha. What is the Sangha? Sangha means? Yes, Sangha means disciples who follow this message, the followers. This is not the ordinary followers who gain the results by practicing this message. These three things are interrelated. If we have some kind of confidence about one thing, then the confidence of other things also gradually grow up, gradually increase. And if we have knowledge about Dhamma, what he explained, then we have a confidence about his enlightenment. Buddha means not only his physical body. When we consider the Buddha, we think about his understanding, his enlightenment, his discovery, his knowledge, his wisdom. Dhamma means what he explained, the world reality in the world. Sangha means his noble disciples. These three things are very important. At the very beginning, we should have some kind of confidence. It is not a very deep confidence, or it is not a blind faith. It is the confidence with understanding, comprehension. And why do we need confidence? At the very beginning. If we have no confidence, we can do anything. When we go to a doctor, we have some kind of confidence that he has some kind of qualifications. When you go to a college, you have a confidence about the instructors or professors. That is why you go to the classroom. And when you eat something, you have some kind of confidence that food is healthy. That is why you eat. When you drink something, you have confidence that it is useful for my body. That is why you drink. We do a lot of things in the world depending on confidence. Especially when we go to a spiritual teacher. At the very beginning, we may have some kind of confidence that actually little by little it increases with the knowledge. Knowledge is very important. Okay, especially here, I would like to explain the Dhamma, what Buddha taught. What Buddha taught? What is his message? What he explained to the world? What was his goal to explain in his message to the world? He explained the truth. He explained the truth. Truth is truth. It doesn't belong to anybody. We can't label it. This is Buddhist truth. This is Christian truth. This is Hindu truth. We can't label it. Truth belongs to everybody who are intelligent. That is the important thing. That now, first of all, I would like to explain what Buddha explained to the world as his message, the Dhamma. As Dhamma, he explained the truth. What is the truth that he emphasized? Truth can be divided into two. The truth is the very important thing. What are the truths that he explained to the world? The truth, what happens to our body and mind. His message is like a mirror, wall mirror. As much as we listening to and we read it, we understand what our life is. It is like a mirror, wall mirror. It is not like a glass. Glass is always used to look at outside. But mirror is used to look at our life. Dhamma should be a mirror. It should not be a glass. If we use Dhamma as a glass, what happens to us? We always try to look at other behavior, other mistakes through our glasses. As much as we are going forward with understanding what Buddha said, then we understand what happens to our life, what happens to our body and mind, what is the nature of our life, what is the goal of our life. Truth, especially truth, can be divided into two. First one is conventional truth. Is correct? Yes, conventional truth. What is the conventional truth? It is the ordinary truth that a lot of people believe in the world. What is that? There are some material things. When we do good deeds, we will have the good results. When we do bad deeds, we will have the negative results. This is the nature of the conventional truth. According to conventional truth, always we know that Before we were born in the world, there was a world. After we die, the world remains. This is the truth of conventional truth. You know, every religion, every philosopher, every educator, every scientist explains this truth. Buddhism also has explained this truth, but Buddhism has explained not only the conventional truth, but Buddha has explained the other truth, which is ultimate truth. That is the interesting thing. First of all, we should understand the conventional truth. According to conventional truth, that when we do something with wicked mind, we will have the bad results, negative results. When we do something with pure mind, because of pure mind, we will have the fruitful results in this life and also hereafter. This is the first step that Buddha explained. If we can understand this reality, always we try to go away from evil or unwholesome deeds, and we try to develop good, wholesome deeds in our life, physically, mentally, or verbally. This is the first step that we have to promote, that we have to develop. You know, there are a lot of people in the world, well-educated people. Although some people don't believe any religion, most of people in the society, they believe this truth. That is why their behavior is good. That is why they have a good discipline. That is why they are friendly with others. You know, a lot of people we can see, they don't believe any religion. But although they don't say that I believe karma, but their activities, their behavior is good. They have a lot of problems because they have a good discipline in their life. And however, if we have this knowledge, the important thing is we do not only avoiding bad deeds or evil, we try to practice good. We try to practice good deeds in our life, physically, mentally, and verbally. You know, according to Buddhism, there are 3 meritorious deeds which decorate our mind. That is very important. There are 3 meritorious deeds. What they are? In Buddha's language it says, Dana, practicing generosity, Sila, practicing morality or discipline, and Bhavana, practicing meditation. These are the main 3 meritorious deeds that we can do for our happiness. You know, if always we use these kind of merits, it means our mind is very pure and calm. Always we are ready to offer something to others. Not only the physical things, if we can listen to others' problems, that is also some kind of dedication for others. That is also some kind of generosity. And morality means good discipline in our speech and behavior. If we have good discipline, we are honored in the society. Nobody can criticize us because of good behavior. That is also very important. You know, although we were born alone, although we die alone, we live with the society. We live with many people in the society. Then having a good discipline is very important to live successfully in the society peacefully. That is also not only discipline, but if we have good discipline, Buddhism says that it is a merit. It is a meritorious deed. What is the result having a good discipline or morality? You can see your life. You have this kind of human life with successful physical body because of our previous practice in our previous life that we have practiced morality or virtue. That is the good result. If we had some kind of misbehavior in our previous life, we would not have this kind of life. That is, we can be happy about our life. There are some people who are blind, who are deaf, who have some problems in their physical body. We don't have those difficulties in our body because of our good behavior, virtuous behavior in previous lives. That is why we are here like this. And meditation means, it is also some kind of meritorious deed that Buddhism says. Practicing meditation means in this level, it says as a very primary level meditation, such as breathing meditation, loving kind meditation. We can use some kind of meditation technique as our daily life, for our daily life, for our inner happiness. In this level, if we have understanding about this truth in the primary level, which is conventional truth, that what we do, we always try to go away from negative deeds or evil or bad deeds. Because we know very well, if we do something with polluted mind, even though others don't criticize us, although they don't give us something, the thing is that we have no happiness. That is why always we try to go away from evil or from negative deeds in our life. Anger, jealousy, disturbing others, those are the things which pollute our mind. Then we know very well, with this understanding, our important thing is in our life is our mind. We protect our mind than our physical body. The important thing that we have mind. But although the mind is the very important thing, mind has no mindfulness, then mind is not a friend to us. It is like an enemy. Therefore, that is why Buddhism always has explained to add mindfulness to your mind. Mind without mindfulness is an enemy. Mind with mindfulness is the best friend. Mind with awareness is a friend. Mind without awareness about your body and mind is an enemy. Therefore, the decision is on your hand, whether you get happiness or suffering. The second level, that is the very important thing, that is ultimate truth. Ultimate truth. What is the ultimate truth that Buddhism says? This is the very, very important thing that we have to achieve. According to conventional truth, when we look at something, before we look at it, it was here. After we look it, it remains. According to conventional truth. Before you came here, your house was there. After you will go home, it will be there. According to conventional truth. How about ultimate truth? Before you look at something, before you hear something, Before you smell something, it was not here. After you experience, it doesn't remain. It is very difficult to understand. The reason is that in the very long sansaric journey, we have practiced only this truth, only conventional truth. As example, this sound. Before you heard this sound, was it here? No, it was not here. After you heard this sound, did it remain? No. This is the example for our all experience through our six senses. Through our eye, ear, nose, every senses. We have six senses. If we get some kind of experience through our senses, this is the real truth, whether we know or not, whether we believe or not. The world arises when we look at something, when we hear something, when we smell something, when we eat something, when we feel something to our physical body, when we remember something, when we consider something. Sometimes you can believe it because you know after you left your house you believe that still house is there. It is true according to conventional truth, but according to ultimate truth, you have only one experience once in the present moment. When you consider your children, you are mother or father. When you remember your workplace, you are a worker or servant. When you remember your moms or father, you are a child, you are a son or daughter. And when you remember your education or qualification, you are an educated person. When you remember your vehicle which is on the way, you are an owner of a vehicle. But believe that you have only one experience once. When you get one experience, the other experience, all of are dead. This is the truth. But because of delusion, we are not ready to accept this truth. Because of ignorance. All Buddhist doctrines focus on getting rid of this ignorance. This is the very vast, very huge darkness in our life. Buddha said, there are some planets in the world which has no light. Because there are some planets in the universe, they have no light because they are behind some kind of planet. Then sun is here, one planet is here, the other planet is here. They have no light. Scientists say that there are no beings there because of no sunlight. But according to Buddhism, there are some beings, some kind of beings there. They are born in the darkness, in the dark. They live in the dark. They die in the dark. Buddha said, they live completely in the darkness. Believe that Buddha says again, there are another more darkness in our life than that dark planet. What is that darkness that Buddha explained? If we don't know this reality, that is the bigger darkness that we have than that planet has. This is the very, very important thing. Little by little we have to understand. If we are clever to understand this universal truth. This is the only way get rid of suffering. For example, now you remember something. Actually, this is the thing that always we describe. You know, one day Buddha explained, I explain only both. Those are the suffering and the cessation of suffering. This is only thing that he had to explain. If somebody doesn't know that this truth, that is the suffering, because you know, as soon as you remember something or somebody who blamed you, what happens to you? We usually get angry. What is the reason? We think that still that person is blaming you. That person blamed you once. If you ignore, you are blamed again and again. When you came here, if your child had a misbehavior, when you left house to here, if your children had some kind of misbehavior, what happens to your mind? You are thinking, is still they are misbehaving. Now they are reading books. Now they may worshiping the Buddha. Now they may be meditating. But still you are thinking they are playing or they are misbehaving. When you think somebody who died, as soon as you remember that person, what happens to you? Who has helped you a lot. If a person who died, who passed away, who is your close friend or relative, as soon as you remember that person, what happens to your mind? You are sad, you worry. What is the reason? You remember that incident, what he did for you. But those all incidents have ceased. All of them are finished. Now that person is another place. But because of our ignorance or delusion, as soon as we remember something, what happens to our mind? Yes, our mind goes to the previous experience. And not only going to the previous experience, but our mind lives in the past experience. That is the reason of suffering. That is the cause of suffering. That is the fault. Memory is not the fault. Buddhism never says you forget your past or future. If you forget your past or future, be sure it is a big mistake in your life. Buddhism never says that forget past or future. What should we do?
Not mistake past or future for present.
Yes, we should develop our mindfulness. When we develop mindfulness, we can remember anything past or future, but we know very well, now I am here. Now I am in the present moment. I focus my mind past or future. Then I can remember without suffering, without blaming, without anger. Now when we think something as past or future, our mind goes to the past or future, our mind lives in the past or future. With ignorance, then we suffer, then we have some big attachment, or we have some kind of problems. Then that is why Buddhism says our success, our happiness, our proficiency completely depends on how far we have developed our mindfulness with this understanding. Our success doesn't depend on our education or qualifications or how much money we have monthly. Our happiness, our success, our proficiency depends on how far we have this knowledge, how long we can live with mindfulness. if when we are suffering, when we are angry, when we are jealous, be sure at that moment we don't live at the present moment. We live in the past or future. When you worry, when your mind is upset, and when you are sad, when you have ill will, when you have lust or big attachment, be sure at that moment, do you live in the present moment? No, you live in the previous experience or you live in the future. Without mindfulness. That is the reason you worry. That is the reason you are suffering. Then this is the way how we get rid of suffering. Not only the previous experience, be sure. When we look at something, when we hear something, when we understand it, when you understand something, what I say, you may think that in the present sound you understand, but it is not true. When you understand what I say, then the first sound has ceased. When you understand my sound, first sound has ceased, then again your mind has catched this sound with understanding, it has goes to mind. Because it is very fast, we can't understand it. When you see something, the first color has ceased, then the second time we catch it in our mind, and when we understand it, the first color has ceased. We can live in the present moment only in our mind. When we look at something, when we hear something, when we smell something, when we understand this experience, be sure that the first experience has ceased. But because it is very fast, it is very it is very difficult to understand. If we like to understand this reality, what should we do? First of all, we should have knowledge. Knowledge is very important. Without knowledge, we have nothing to practice. According to knowledge, we have to reflect on it again and again. Not only here. When you do any other thing, if you can reflect on it again and again, this is the world reality, then this understanding going to be certain in our life. And not only knowledge, but also reflecting, and also not only reflecting, but we have to do other things that, what is that? Yes, practice. How do we practice it? We have to practice it through meditation. Meditation is the main way that we are going to be certain this understanding. The reason is usually our mind is very complex. When our mind is very complex, it is very difficult to analyze this reality. That is why, first of all, we have to control our mind. We have to concentrate our mind with using some kind of meditation. Again and again, at least 5 minutes. If you can concentrate your mind, if you can practice tranquility in your life, little by little, you practice your mind to live in the present moment. When your mind is in the present moment, it is very easy to see this reality. On the other hand, we can reduce our stress. Mindfulness or meditation is used as a solution that some people practice for overcome stress and anxiety. That is very important. Here, first of all, the first level is the concentration meditation. It means the calm meditation. First of all, we try to concentrate our mind because it is very complex. Then with the concentrated mind, we try to see the world reality impermanence. What is the impermanence that Buddhism says? We usually use the word impermanence. What is the meaning of impermanence? Yes. We usually use the word impermanence as changing. If somebody goes to old age, or somebody goes to sicknesses, or if this building is subject to destroy, we say that it is impermanent. But according to Buddhism, this is not the real impermanence. What is the real impermanence? That we experience through our senses, such as eyes, ear, nose, when conditions are together. For example, this sound. When this pen is here, when table is here, when my effort is here, and when my ears is active and my consciousness is active, all of them are together, we can listen in a sound. This sound was not here before we heard it. After we heard it, it doesn't remain here. This is the thing that happen to our life. That happens to our life. This is very difficult to understand, but if we are clever to understand this reality, because by born we have gained intelligence. That is why we were born as human beings. That is the result that we have accumulated a lot of merits in our previous life. That is why we were born in this universe, in this Buddha's life. And we have to discuss something. If you have any question, you can ask. I think it is some kind of difficult topic in Buddhism. In first day, although you are in the first day, don't worry. It is not difficult. Buddha also explained this message. The new persons in the world, when he explained this message, nobody didn't know it. If you are a newcomer, it is very easy to understand. Your mind is not complex. And we are clever to understand this. And it is not a belief. You should not believe it. We have to see it through our life. Even though Buddha has explained this, we should not believe it. Buddhism never says you should believe it. Buddhism invites us, come and see. Ehi passika. One of the qualities of Dhamma is come and see. Ehi passika. Ehi means come. Passika means seen. Buddhism never says come and believe. Buddhism invites us, come and see. How do we see it? Through our life. Practicing this message through our life, we can analyze it. We can emphasize it. We can understand it. The thing is that we get only knowledge when we practice it. We should not want a belief or confidence. we should have only knowledge, only our vision. Then if we have correct vision, then our attitude, our mind changes into correct way. It says in Buddha's language, Samma Sankappa. When we have Samma Sankappa, when we have right attitude or right vision, then Samma Vacha, we have right speech. In your handout, it says Samma Vacha, as much as the third one, right speech, as much as we have this knowledge, we try to control our speech, If we have this understanding, when we talk something, now, when we talk something about our previous experience, we play it. We live in the experience. That person blamed me, that lady did this sin. When we talk these things, what happens to our mind? We create that incident as a live thing. And we live in that situation. We imagine that thing, but because of ignorance, we don't know. Now we are reading our mind. If we have this understanding, what happens to our speech? Yeah, actually it has a control. We have a good discipline in our speech. When we speak something, we do consciously, we do it mindfully. Our speech is controlled automatically as much as we have this vision. If a person speaks a lot, living in his previous experience or in his future, it means that person has no this understanding. It doesn't sound that we don't tell something. We can tell something, we can talk something, we can speak. But we do it mindfully. That is why we don't suffer when we explain something. And also, we have right action, Samma Kammanta. We don't kill others, we don't steal, we don't have misbehavior in our physical body. As much as we have this right understanding, our attitude is correct, our mind is correct, and also our speech is correct, and our actions that we do physically, it is also correct. If somebody has this understanding, he doesn't like to suffer. Because of this understanding, if somebody knows the road that it ends in a hell, in a down place or fire, that person never goes on that way. We also like that. If we have this understanding, if we have this good vision in our life, we have good speech, we have good discipline in our speech, and also our action also correct. When we do something physically, everything is correct. Not only action, but our livelihood. What we do to live, when we find some jobs, we do them in the righteous way. We find jobs, we don't consider not only the salary, but we always think how much it is useful for my righteous life. Then we always try to righteous jobs in our life. Although we want money, but always we try to the correct jobs in our life, because our mind is the more important thing. Our mind is more valuable than money what we earn. On the other hand, Samma Vayama means we have a correct effort. What is the effort that we have? Always we have the effort to avoid the bad deeds or negative or unwholesome deeds, and we have an effort to do the good deeds, the wholesome deeds. This is the effort. Every moment we have an effort to go away from evil, and we have an effort to do good deeds in our life. You know, the vision is always front. With this understanding, always we are reaching the happiness. Always we want happiness. Then little by little we are on the way of liberation or happiness. Then our all activities focus on this goal. And not only effort, but also that we have right mindfulness. This is very important, mindfulness. First we discuss mindfulness as one thing, but when we go to the deep level, mindfulness can be divided into four. The contemplation of body, the contemplation of feelings, the contemplation of mind, the contemplation of mental objects. It means we do everything completely with mindfulness. It means that we have no mistake. It sounds that nobody can control our happiness. Now our happiness depends on outside. Outside persons can decide our happiness or suffering. When some forms or some sound change, we happy or worry. Now we depend on outside. When we go on this way, gradually we are going to be free. Nobody can disturb our peace of mind when we go on this way, on this path. Now we think that we are living in a free country. We have a freedom. Actually, we have no real freedom until we understand this message and until we achieve this result. Now anybody can change our peace of mind. Anybody can disturb our mind. When the environment is very quiet and calm, you are so happy. When environment changes, you get upset. When your children are very obedient, when your children are very good, innocent, and they are obeyed to you, you are so happy. When they have misbehavior, you get angry. When you have a good salary, you are happy. When your salary goes down, you have no happiness. Now you depend on outside. But you know, when we go forward on this path, our success, our happiness completely depends on our mind. Then even though all world is destroyed, we don't worry. When we are going to old age, we don't suffer. Now our happiness depends on our figure, our health, our good complexion. Now our happiness depends on our health, our good complexion, our age. When our physical body gradually going to old age, our happiness gradually decreases. Be sure, if we are on this path, even though our physical body is subject to old age, we don't worry when our body is going to old age, because our vision, our understanding is in the higher level. We live in mind. We have overcome the physical things. Now we have caught the physical things. We live with the physical things. We have no ability to overcome the physical things just now. Buddhism guides us to overcome the physical things, the material things. It doesn't sound we reject them. While we are using the material things, that we have a path to overcome this level, and we have a path to live in the spiritual level. That is the path that Buddhism has explained. On this path, little by little, we go forward, and in 7th level, right mindfulness, and in the 8th level, right concentration. It means we have completely controlled our mind. Now we can live completely in the present moment. As soon as our mind goes to the previous experience or future, we know very well what happens to my mind. Then we have completely control in this level our mind, samma samadhi, or right concentration or right tranquility. Then with the concentrated mind, we see the world reality. What is that? Every moment the world arises and ceases. Every moment it is like a light. What is the world? The world is what we see. The world, what we hear, what we smell, what we eat. This is the world that we have. Except these 6 senses, we have no world. Except these 6 objects, we have no world. Everything that you have as your children, as your properties, as your educational qualifications, as your money, everything is related to these 6 senses and 6 objects. The nature of these senses and objects are instant. They are not remained after experience. Everything happens in the present moment. If we can live in the present moment, it sounds we have overcome suffering. It doesn't sound that we don't do our duties or responsibilities. We do very better than we do now. After this experience, we do our responsibilities better than we do just now. Now we take care of others, giving food and clothes only. After this experience, we take care of our children and our elders, not only giving food and clothes. We give them the wisdom too. We give them this understanding. That is the real generosity. Now we give others our money, our food, our clothes to others. And it is very impermanent. But if we can give this understanding to a person, that person can live with happiness, overcoming suffering. That is the real generosity. That is the real gratitude that you should do for your elders, for your parents. Day by day, we go forward. Now we are on the way of going away from the suffering. Although day by day, year by year, we earn more money, what happens to our life? We are on the way from suffering, from happiness. Day by day, our happiness gradually decreases. Whether you like or not, whether you know or not. The main reason is our body day by day going to old age. But if we can receive this understanding, our knowledge, our understanding, our spiritual energy goes fast than our body is going to old age. That is why day by day we go forward in happiness. That is the path that Buddha explained to us kindly. Buddha said, if you respect me, don't respect my physical body. Don't offer me food or something, but we do it as our gratitude. But Buddha accepted from us to practice this message through our life. Through our life. If we are intelligent, this is the path that we have to practice. This doesn't belong to any religion or any person. This belongs to every person who are intelligent. Okay. Now, little by little, in this handout, we have explained everything what I said now, what I told now, and by reading this handout, you can improve your knowledge. You are very lucky to listening to this message, what Buddha explained, and if we can improve our knowledge and also if we can practice these doctrines through our life, at least at the very beginning, Buddha said, the first level, this understanding of the ultimate truth is the highest level. We may have to spend several years, several lives, and however, in this level, at the very beginning, if we can practice loving kindness, by practicing, may all beings be well and happy, then it helps us to overcome our anger. We mostly suffer, we mostly worry, we are suffering because of anger. If a person would like to live with happiness, he or she has to reduce his anger in the first level, very first level. Therefore, at the very beginning, little by little, we have to practice loving kind meditation. On the other hand, we have to develop our discipline or virtue or morality, and also we have a good discipline in our life, speech and behavior. On the other hand, there is a very important thing in Buddhism. All good qualities depends on one quality. You can guess it? Yes, very important. All kind of human values, good qualities depends on gratitude. If we are not grateful, we have nothing. That is the first step. Consider your life. When you do any good deed in your life, if you clean your house, what is that? It's gratitude. If you wash your vehicle, that is also gratitude. If you do your responsibilities in your job, that is also gratitude. If you take care of your parents, that is also gratitude. If you wash your body, that is also gratitude. Everything, every good deeds that we do depends on gratitude. Try to practice gratitude in the primary level. Then you can achieve other goals little by little. Okay, thank you coming here. Okay, we talked more than 1 hour, 1 hour and 15 minutes we discussed. And if you have any question, you can ask. Sometimes you may think that it is difficult to understand. Don't worry. If you come again and again, we discuss these teachings again and again. it is not difficult, already you have studied a lot with very colorful students. You have studied a lot, you are graduated and you have received a lot of degrees and educational qualifications from very high educational institutes. That we are clever to understand this message, don't worry. Anybody can understand. But practice is that it depends on our effort. The thing, we have to dedicate our life only for listening. Practice is like breathing. If you have mindfulness, every moment we can practice throughout our life. It is like breathing. That is very important thing. You are so lucky to listen to this message. I appreciate your participation and I wish you all the best for your life. And now the time to transfer these merits to our departed relatives. As a Buddhist custom, that after doing any kind of merit, that we transfer these merits to our departed relatives. That is our tradition. We believe that when we do this kind of meritorious deeds, we generate our mind in a positive way, and we generate our mind in the spiritual way. With the energy, we transfer these merits to our departed relatives who are passed away. Okay, now the time to that, think your departed relatives or friends. And anybody who wants merits and who want to get the better life, all of them may receive these merits, and receiving these merits, they may have good life, and finally they may attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to our beloved departed relatives. Recite in the Pali stanza. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. By the power of all these merits, may guardian deities and angels also receive these merits. By receiving these merits, may they keep their eye on you too. May they protect you. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to divine persons too. Ettavata ca amhehi sambhatam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodanto sambha sampatti sindhya. Ettavata ca amhehi sambhatam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodanto sambha sampatti sindhya. Ettavata ca amhehi sambhatam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodanto sambha sampatti sindhya. By the power of all these merits, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no problems come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May you meet with success everywhere, every moment. May all of you attain final bliss of liberation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dukkham pantā ca niddukkhaṃ bhayam pantā ca nibbhayāṃ sokam pantā ca nissokāṃ hanto sabbe pipānino. May the people bless you. Thank you for your coming.